We all know the feeling of staring down a blank document or a timeline of unedited footage. You want to look anywhere else. It's a specific kind of drag where you manage to do everything except the exact work you actually need to do. Usually, we treat motivation like the weather, something that happens to us if we wait long enough for a spark to strike. This is a mechanical misunderstanding of the brain. Procrastination is a threshold problem. The resistance lives at the boundary of starting, rather than within the work itself. This is activation inertia. An unstarted task sits completely inert. No psychological pull, no forward momentum, just a looming abstract weight. To move from zero to progress, you have to scale a high-friction wall. The psychological effort is not distributed evenly. Resistance is concentrated at the base of this wall, the heavy transition from not started to started. The very moment you begin, even if you type a single, terrible sentence, the nature of the task changes. It shifts from an abstract idea to a concrete thing currently in progress. Deep inside your brain, a cluster of neurons called the striatum acts as an energetic accountant. It weighs the biological cost of an action against the expected reward of doing it. This chart shows the energetic cost of effort over time. Notice the spike at the 0-minute mark. The energy required to shift from rest to action is the most expensive part of any task. Because that initial barrier is so steep, your brain looks at the unstarted task, calculates the heavy upfront cost, and defaults to avoidance to save energy. But once you are moving, continuation is biologically cheaper than initiation. Your brain only wants to avoid the first 2 minutes. In the 1920s, psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik noticed a strange pattern among restaurant waiters.
They had perfect recall of complex orders for guests who were still eating and hadn't yet paid. Zeigarnik found that incomplete tasks create a persistent cognitive tension. Because the order was active, the brain kept those details in working memory. But the exact moment the bill was settled, the mental loop closed, and the brain released the tension. Psychologist Maria Ovsiankina later proved that this tension creates a drive to return to interrupted tasks, even without an external prompt. Unstarted tasks sit inert, but started tasks exert a pull. Simply beginning activates this internal drive to return and finish what you left open. We can use this to bypass the striatum's cost check. To start, you must shrink the action until the biological resistance is negligible. This is why the 2-minute rule, just opening the software or putting on your gym shoes, works. It drops the initial energy cost to nearly zero. The goal is not to do the hard work yet. The goal is to drag the task across the boundary line, moving it into the started category. Once you cross that tiny threshold, the Zeigarnik and Ovsiankina effects provide the forward momentum that willpower couldn't. Even if you start poorly, you have successfully opened the loop in your brain. You have shifted from avoidance to momentum. Your brain now wants to close that loop more than it wants to avoid the effort. The advice to just start reflects how your brain handles tension. Once you move from 0 to 1, you are no longer fighting your own wiring. You are writing its natural desire for completion.